The FX6 is probably one of the most popular cinema production, whatever you want to call cameras of all time. And that's for good reason. But recently, a new challenger has come out that seeks to potentially dethrone the FX6 from its top spot in the Sony cinema line. How does it stack up? And am I going to be selling my FX6? Well, stay tuned. Okay, so for the music video shoot, obviously we got a camera here, FX6, got the monitor right there. This thing is ready to go. Gonna get a great image out of it. And then as the B camera, obviously we got the trusty FX30. This is what's great about the Sony system that you don't really get with a lot of other systems, is if you want the big production ready cinema camera, you can have one. If you want pretty similar image but smaller body, smaller packaging, then you go with the FX30. Here is the other part of today's music video. We got Mr. Caleb Smith.
What's up?
So I was just explaining to them about the FX6 and FX30. What are you bringing today?
Oh, well, I'm going to be bringing my A7 IV right here with my Godox flash. And then over here, we got some grip equipment. We got
our freaking, what is it called again? Our island? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Our island is dominated by camera crap right now.
Is the video village, actually.
Yeah. I was just telling them about how it's great that we have, all the Sony system cameras. They all kind of, if one is like too big and too cumbersome,
you just throw it on another.
Yeah, you just get another one. Yeah. You get the same image. You're working with the same materials.
Right.
And you're thinking about getting the A7R6 pretty soon, huh?
Yes.
Are you going to get it to replace your A7 IV?
It's not going to replace it entirely. It's going to become my main photo camera, but the A7 IV will definitely be in my lineup.
Yeah.
Future shoots.
Yeah. I'm going to be getting the FX5 because I don't take pictures. So I actually got the FX6 not too long ago. I think now it's about 2 months ago that I got this camera. And a lot of people were asking me, well, Ryan, are you gonna get it when there are rumors swirling about a potential FX3 Mark II, which eventually we know became the FX5? Honestly, I don't regret it. This camera, just over the past 2 months, has made me over $5 grand. Now that's also in conjunction with my FX30, but this camera has become such a workhorse in my kit that I would not dream of selling it. And that's because it fits into a certain niche that I don't think even the FX5 can really match. So for those of you who haven't kept up, the FX5 is Sony's latest addition to the Sony cinema line. And it has all of the greatest and latest features from all of the different camera brands compiled into one body. It has open gate, it has 5K, it has 16-bit internal RAW, it has triple base ISO, and internal 32-bit float when you buy it with the top handle. It's a fantastic camera, but I honestly don't think the FX5 and FX6 address the same problems. And I think you can actually see this with Sony's upper crust cinema cameras as well. I think there is a clear dividing line between something like the Sony Burano and the Sony Venice and Venice 2. I think the Burano is much more of what my friend Sean Henderson calls a production camera, whereas the Venice 1 and Venice 2 are much more easily categorized as purpose-built cinema cameras. So I would say that the FX6 leans much more into the bracket of production camera. Okay, so we just got the first shot. There are bugs everywhere. There are bugs everywhere. Off. It isn't necessarily a purpose-built cinema camera, although you could definitely use it. Alexa, it's your turn.
Yay! Okay, Hi.
There have been lots of different short films and feature-length documentaries that have been shot on it, but I don't think when Sony was making this camera that they were thinking about making movies specifically. And I say that because most cinema cameras don't employ a auto ND filter. That's not really something that you would use during production work. You always want to be able to have hard stops of ND, and you want to know exactly how much ND is being used in a frame for post-production work, for note-taking, for editor's notes. You always want to know that. However, for a lot of run and gun shooting, like sports or documentary work, you absolutely want an auto ND filter. And I think that's why it's not really a big deal that the FX5 doesn't have an auto ND filter or an internal ND filter, because something like the Red Komodo X or the Red V Raptor, those are more cinema cameras, but they don't have an internal ND filter. Yo, what's up guys? Editing Ryan here. I actually just had a really good analogy come into my mind while I was editing this to better explain my point. So I would say the difference between the FX5 and FX6 is much better put into the category of a gaming PC versus a MacBook. They're both computers, but they both are meant to tackle very different issues. Now, yes, you can play games on the MacBook, sure, but that's not really what it's for. And you can totally do video editing on the gaming laptop. Sure, why not? But that's also not what it's for. That is kind of how I see both the FX5 and the FX6. The FX6 is like the MacBook. It doesn't have the latest graphics card. It doesn't have all of the eye-catching specifications that the brand new NVIDIA gaming PC does, you know, but that doesn't make it less good. That doesn't make it an inferior product. It's just meant to tackle different situations and tackle those situations well. The same goes for the FX5. I think the FX5, like a gaming laptop, it's meant to have as much power as possible for a few tasks, gaming in the PC's case, and high resolution, intense, raw shooting in the FX5's case. The FX6 can do raw if you wanted to. The FX5 is built for it. The FX5, you can throw an ND on the front of it, but the FX6 has it built into it. And I think another great way of highlighting the difference between the two of them is the FX6 comes with the top handle, and without the top handle, you can't really get good audio from it. It's meant to have that top handle. I know a lot of people don't like the top handle. I haven't had a problem with it, but I can see how it's annoying to some people. But you don't have to buy it separately. It's meant to come with it. But the FX5, you don't necessarily need to get that 32-bit float top handle, because you're probably going to be running different kinds of audio with it. You may not even need audio when it comes to using the FX5. I've heard a lot of people say it's kind of like the Red Komodo X, where it's going to be a crash cam or a B camera to the Burano. Well, you really don't need high quality audio if you don't want it with something like the FX5, if it's going to be the B or the C camera to even higher end cinema cameras. Whereas with the FX6, if you're doing a lot of dock stuff with it, if you're doing a lot of run and gun shooting with it, you're probably going to need that audio, and you're going to want that top handle. You know, that's kind of my thoughts. I just thought of it now. I probably took way too long to say it. But anyways, you might see me again. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, take it away, past me. I think the FX5 is meant to be a pocket-sized cinema camera, whereas the FX6 is meant to be more of a full-blown production camera that you could use for cinema, but ultimately I think it's meant to just cater to a ton of different work styles and workflows. And I think the SDI and time code that you can access on the back of the camera here, I think that's just kind of representative of that. Now, you can totally disagree with me as to whether you think the FX6 is more of a cinema camera than the FX5. We could disagree about what makes a cinema camera versus a production camera versus a mirrorless camera all day long, but I would say that that line is getting increasingly blurred. Every year, a brand new camera comes out and throws everything we knew about what cameras are supposed to fit in which niche out the window. But I would say the FX6 is doing a really great job of retaining its position as just my go-to workhorse camera. Another advantage that I think the FX6 has over the FX5 is this handle. This handle is freaking awesome, and I've used it on so many different shoots. I never take this handle off. I thought before I got this camera I wasn't ever going to use this handle because I thought, I could put something else there. Nope. I love this handle. It has proven me wrong so much. It is such a great handle. My only problem with it is it kind of does wobble a little bit right here. I don't know if you can hear that. I wish it didn't wobble. I wish it just locked in place, but it's never felt like it's going to come off. But I wish for like $6,000 it didn't wobble. Come on, Sony, I feel like we should have like some rubber stoppers in here to keep it from doing that, but whatever. That's more of a personal thing than an actual function thing. And that's what this camera is really all about. It doesn't have the latest and greatest specs like the FX5. It doesn't have open gate. I wish it was possible, but I don't think it's possible. But it does have 12-bit RAW in the external recording, which I don't have a problem with. I run this thing with a monitor anyways. It has a pretty decent, not a very bright, but a pretty decent, fully articulating screen right here, and you can mount it basically everywhere on this body. There are little grooves both on the top of the camera and on the sides of the top handle where you could place this monitor, so you have maximum flexibility there. And that's just what this style of body provides versus something like the FX5, which is meant to be a super small, bare minimum cinema camera that you can take just about anywhere. This camera is meant to have all the controls and whistles and bells and whatever that you need. If you're doing documentary work, if you're doing run and gun sports videography, if you're doing event coverage, this gives you everything you need in order to get the job done. And I think that's kind of just what makes me love this camera. The image, absolutely stellar. It has a certain quality to it that I love above something like the A7S III or the FX3, but you don't really get a camera like this for the image. Otherwise, you can go buy the Pixis 12K for an even better image for around the same price. You get it for the controls, the modularity, the ease of use, and I mean, it's a great camera and it has served me well, and you get that for that ND filter too. I mean, that alone has kept this camera relevant for the last 5 years.
About to bust out the Oreos, yeah, trying to stay healthy.
Just trying to keep going,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
How's the sun treating you? It's baking out here, man.
So, I'm kind of intense with my training. My best friend lived in Phoenix for 6 years. So I used to go out there in the summertime, just run in like dead heat. I know it's a different kind of heat, but I'm kind of sick in that way.
All those things in combination with each other have just made this the working man's camera in the industry, whether you do low-level short films all the way up to high-level sports content. I mean, they've shot NFL ads on this camera before, and that's, I think, just kind of all of these little things that make this camera so versatile are what keep it relevant even today. And I could be totally wrong. Come next year, maybe the FX5. Oh, did that turn off? Get off my screen. No free ads. I think it's just such a versatile body. You could take this, throw it on a gimbal. There's no IBIS in it, so it doesn't even wobble. And you have the internal ND on there, so you don't need to finagle with anything on the front. And you have all these mounting points on top, so you can rig it out kind of however you want, versus an FX5, FX3 type thing, where you are limited in terms of space on the body to mount things. And so that's why I'm going to be keeping my FX6 at least until they release something like an FX7 or an FX8, because it is just such a versatile production workhorse. If I'm shooting in bright scenarios, ND goes right on, and it is almost impossible to overexpose it. If I'm in really dark scenarios, I still have that 12,800. It's still beautiful, it's still crisp as long as you expose it right. You still have crisp 4K in there. You have 12-bit ProRes RAW if you want it. And even though it doesn't have IBIS, when you have it rigged out like this, there's no wobble. There's no micro jitters. There's nothing. Which, honestly, I prefer to something like the C50 because it's such a small camera, you can see all of the micro jitters. I think this camera is just classic. And much like the Arri Alexa Classic, I think it's going to be sticking around for a while, at least until Sony themselves release something to put it out of its misery. But yeah, so that's my diatribe on why I'm going to be keeping the FX6. I'm still going to be getting the FX5 because, like I said, it does have some of the newer features. And I think the FX5 will fill some of the gaps left by the FX6. But I'm excited to pair the two together and see how they work with each other, see if one kind of takes over from the other, or if they fit into very specific niches where I use both of them at the same time. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this little off-the-cuff video. I want to get more content out there, and I don't want to worry so much about lighting and production value, and I just kind of want to talk to you guys about what I'm thinking. Feel free to disagree with everything I've said. I'm just one guy, and I'm not the smartest. I don't know all of the specs, but feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.